Welcome to the team. Seriously, I am so incredibly excited to have you joining us as our newest design intern. Your first day is always a huge milestone, and to get you up to speed right away, we're going to use this explainer as your dedicated technical onboarding session. Today is all about mastering Figma prototyping. It is absolutely the core tool we use every single day to bring our ideas to life. And I promise, by the end of this session, you're going to be building interactions like a seasoned pro.
Okay, let's dive straight into this. Here is a quick look at our training schedule for today. First, we'll do a quick welcome to the team to set the stage. Then we'll hit building scrollable pages, cross-page navigation steps, creating interactive modals, sharing and shadowing users, and finally, we'll wrap up with something we call the happy path rule.
All right, starting with Section 1, welcome to the team and establishing our foundation.
You know, as a product designer, your job isn't just to make things look pretty, it's to communicate how things actually work in the real world. That is exactly why prototyping is absolutely crucial to our daily design workflow. A prototype is an interactive representation of your product design. It's not just a static picture or a flat mock-up that you just stare at. It's an actual build that allows anyone with a link to view and literally interact with your work. And honestly, the beauty of a Figma prototype is that it scales so well. You can use it to map out a really simple app idea, or you can use it to build out a massively complex product, like say the YouTube app, where there are dozens of different actions you can perform on just a single screen. Now, I know looking at complex apps like YouTube can feel kind of intimidating on your very first day, but I want to reassure you right now, while the final products we build are definitely complex, the core interactions you need to learn are actually incredibly simple. If you can master just these 3 core interactions, scrolling through a page, cross-page interactions, and interactive modals, you are going to be able to handle almost everything we throw at you in this role.
Moving right along to Section 2, building a scrollable page. This is basically our bread and butter.
Let's tackle your first real technical assignment. We're going to make a long page scroll naturally, but we're going to keep essential elements, like a bottom navigation bar, fixed firmly in place on the user's screen. So here are the exact technical steps to make that happen. First, simply make the height of your frame longer so there's actually content to scroll through. Next, grab those elements you want to stick to the screen, like your bottom nav. With those selected, look up to the top right of your screen and open the Prototype tab. You'll see an option for position. You're going to want to change that to fixed. Once you've done that, all you have to do is click the Present Triangle icon, which is also up there in the top right corner. Boom! You can now scroll through your page all you want, and that navigation bar won't even budge.
Okay, Section 3, cross-page navigation steps. This is where we start linking your work together. Now let's link our screens together. Kind of like tapping a video thumbnail on a home screen to seamlessly open up a detailed video page. Step 1 is pretty obvious, right? Build the destination page that your thumbnail will link to. But actually, here is a massive pro tip for me to you as your mentor. Do not just make the image clickable. Select the thumbnail, the title, and the secondary text all together. Right-click and choose Group Selection. Or honestly, even better, just use the keyboard shortcut Command+G on a Mac or Control+G on Windows. By grouping the entire trigger area before you open that Prototype tab, you ensure the user can tap the text or the image to navigate. It just creates a much more realistic, user-friendly hit area.
Once you're inside that prototyping tab, you have options. And this brilliantly illustrates the 2 ways Figma lets us build these interactions. You have the visual way, which I personally love. You hover over your group to trigger, grab the little circle that appears on its edge, and literally just drag a line straight to your destination screen. By default, this creates an on-click trigger with a navigate to effect. Then you have the manual way, selecting the trigger, clicking the plus icon, and manually setting the action to on-click and the destination to navigate to. Both of these give you the exact same result, but I promise you, you are going to use that visual drag and drop method about 80% of the time. It is incredibly fast, and it really helps prevent those awkward moments where you accidentally link a button to the totally wrong page.
Now, as you're linking all these pages together, you're going to need to test them constantly. So here is a quick insider secret for you. Just press the R key on your keyboard. I mean, I guess it stands for restart or replay, but honestly, whatever it stands for, it instantly returns your prototype back to its starting point. It is a massive time saver when you're clicking through a bunch of complex cross-page links.
All right, Section 4, creating interactive modals. Let's add some polish.
It is time to level up your skills here and add some real polish to the design. Imagine tapping a little 3-dot icon on a thumbnail, and a menu pops up, and then it disappears when you tap somewhere else. That is a modal. The technical secret to creating the illusion of a floating modal is simply starting with the right frame size. First, you absolutely must create a frame for the modal that is noticeably smaller than your main screen size. Then, just like before, go to the Prototype tab and drag your interaction trigger to this new, smaller destination frame. But, and here is the critical difference, instead of using the default Navigate to interaction, you need to change it to Open Overlay.
Setting it to Open Overlay unlocks a very specific menu. I want you to treat this slide as your vital checklist for realistic modals. Make sure you check the box that says Close when clicking outside. This ensures the modal disappears naturally when a user taps away from it. Also, make sure you check the box for Background. This adds a nice dark, semi-transparent background behind the modal, which dims the main screen and really gives your design that polished, floating look.
Moving to Section 5, Sharing and Shadowing Users. This is the presentation phase.
All right, so you've built the scrollable pages, the links, the modals, but building the prototype is really only half your job. Presenting it effectively to the team and testing it with users, that's the rest of it. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is a trick most beginners totally miss. Do not just look at your mobile designs on your laptop monitor. Download the Figma app on your actual mobile phone and test your prototype there. Tapping your screen with your actual thumb is going to feel completely different than clicking with the mouse, and it's for sure the best way to guarantee your touch targets and font sizes feel realistic before you share them with anyone else.
When you are finally ready to share, please pay attention to step 1 right here. A super common mistake beginners make is sending a link while they are deep into testing the prototype themselves. You must press R to restart your flow, or explicitly set your flow starting point by clicking the plus icon on your first page. If you skip this, your stakeholders might open the link right in the middle of a complex user journey, causing massive confusion. Only after you set the start point should you click Share Prototype and copy that link. Once you share that link, you unlock what I think is literally Figma's greatest superpower, user shadowing. You send the link to a tester or a stakeholder. When they open it, you are going to see their little profile icon pop up right in the top right corner of your screen. If you click on that icon, you instantly start shadowing their live interactions. You see exactly what they are clicking and exactly where they are getting stuck. It is a total lifesaver for quick usability tests, mostly because you don't even need to ask them to share their screen on a Zoom call. You just sit back and watch the magic happen right inside Figma.
Finally, Section 6, the Happy Path Rule, Designing with Purpose.
Okay, we are entering the final stretch of your onboarding. We've covered all the technical buttons to click, but now we're going to transition to pure strategic product design philosophy. Before I give you the final golden rule of this session, let's do a quick pop quiz based on what I've seen over the years. What do you think is the single most common mistake beginners make when prototyping their early designs? Take a second to think about it.
Well, the answer is including way too many screens and features in those first few versions. We've all built those messy, complicated spaghetti files by mistake. But remember, most apps, or even new features within an app, are ultimately just trying to achieve one major goal for the user. When you try to build out every single menu and error state on day one, you completely lose sight of that primary goal.
So the crucial point is this: focus on designing the happy path. This is the absolute simplest, ideal path for your target user to achieve their goal without any friction whatsoever. In your low-fidelity prototypes, build this simple path first. Polish it. Test it. Once the happy path is flawless, then you can move forward to create all the edge cases. Trust me on this. The other screens and error states will flow so naturally and easily once that core journey is rock solid. All right, you know how to scroll, link, and shadow, and you know to always stick to the happy path first. But you know, the tools are really just the beginning. The real question is, now that you have this strong technical foundation, what complex human problem are you going to prototype and solve for us tomorrow? I absolutely cannot wait to see what you build. Welcome again to the team.